Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm here today with my co-host, Lane Victoria. Lane, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Hi, Chris.
It's good to be here again, as always.
Yes, it is.
But, I'm really excited about this episode because we're doing something a little bit different today.
Yes, today we have Brandon Mashburn, and he is a producer over at the Mansion Theater.
Yeah, and so I guess he'd kind of be our first producer we've had. And so he works in the record industry, but he does some different stuff. And so we were looking really forward to talking to him. And, as we just talk about the music industry in Branson, there's really, and we've emphasized this on a lot of shows, but there's really a lot of different types of music in Branson.
Yes, there is. Originally there was a lot of country, but there are tribute shows, there are pop shows, there's rock. There's really something for everyone in Branson.
There really is.
And there are a lot of opportunities for different giftings as well. Like we have Brandon, who's a producer, but we need people to work in the box office and in spotlighting, and so not necessarily just entertainers that we're needing in Branson.
Well, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that you never see. So you have the costume folks, you have the stage crews, you have the sound and lighting people. In fact, if you're wanting to get into the business, sometimes, we've interviewed entertainers that started on the spotlight, and they got connected, they worked the industry. It's always, you'll hear a lot of times, it's always a lot about connections and knowing people. Well, sometimes you got to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Right. For a couple of years, I was working at Mel's Hard Luck Diner before I worked at the Bald Knobbers.
There you go. You proved my point. So I think it's just there's not very many towns of 10,000 plus people where there's as many job opportunities for entertainment. And I wouldn't say necessarily job opportunities, because they're also coveted positions. Like it's sometimes hard to get in them, but there's not very many places that you can go in this small a town that has this much musical type positions.
Yes.
So anyway, folks, we'll be back in just a moment. And so stay tuned. You're not gonna wanna miss this.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. And today I'm really excited to have Brandon Mashburn here. And Brandon, it's great to have you. And you're our first producer here on Play Branson. And so I got to see you at a showcase over at Legends in Concert, and you were actually one of the judges. And so that's how I kind of I need that guy on the show. And
Thank you.
And so you've got a rich history, and so kind of take us back and talk to us about your history and just the whole music business, because it's pretty extensive.
Sure. Well, I started as a musician in Springfield. I was raised in Springfield and started as a drummer and couldn't get any drumming gigs, so I became a bass player and started touring with local acts. That kind of became a regional thing, and then the regional thing got a record deal, and it just kind of progressed. Wow. And that was really my start in music, was just trying to get into the scene, write, be with my friends, playing shows, doing church events, things like that. And then as, like I said, we grew to the regional event and to the record deal, I sort of found my place where I'm not necessarily comfortable being on stage. I never had that burning star personality inside of me where I had to feel that kind of emotional attachment to the music in front of the audience. So I began writing more and more, and the songs I was writing, I would pitch them to other bands and other artists, and they were loving the production that was on the songs, on the demos. So then they started calling to produce the song for them. And it's kind of a skeleton version of how it all came together, but essentially that's how I got to where I am today, is through the progression of playing. So
have you always lived in this area then?
I haven't. Like I said, I was raised in Springfield, and then I moved to Nashville, lived in Nashville when I was touring and producing demos and learning how to write, do those things. And then it was between Nashville and LA for 3 years, and then I moved to Branson following my recognition that I didn't want to be traveling and on the stage, that I wanted to come back home, Southwest Missouri, where I was raised, and focus on writing and work on those types of aspects.
Okay.
So you're kind of all over the musical map. You have you've done country and rock and pop. You've mixed for all sorts of artists. So do you have kind of a passion? Do you have a favorite, or do you just take what other people give you and you say, I want to make it something magical?
You know, honestly, I love it all. I was raised on everything from Meatloaf to Foreigner to Petra to Yanni. My parents, my mother's a piano player, my dad's a singer, and they love all facets of music. So instead of watching TV at night after dinner, my dad would just put records on the radio player. I'll sit around and listen to music.
That almost seems like a foreign concept today.
It kind of is.
I think it's extremely cool, but and we always talk about how the phone has changed society. And from a music industry, I don't think the phone has helped it. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are on that.
Excuse me. There's two aspects of technology in music. In one sense, you're getting music into the hands of anybody who has the device. And that's amazing for blanketing your demographic, the people who are going to listen. The other side of it is we've kind of killed the rock star, if you will, the pop star, because now anybody can be well known. And so when you take what used to be 5 or 6 people throughout the course of a year that would sell 1 million records, now you have 20 people selling 100,000.
Wow.
And so
that's interesting.
It's great in that it presents more opportunity, and the people who may not have had a voice through the 80s and 90s can now have that. But there is a downside, like all technology. There's pros and cons.
Right. So how did you end up at the mansion, like at that location? Because you're running the studio, correct?
I am, yes. So I had a recording studio in Springfield. And my business partner, Tom Whitlock, actually, is my mentor. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. Still lives in Springfield. He and I just decided Springfield wasn't really the market that we wanted to be in. It was at that time it was difficult for us because we were wanting to operate in a genre that Springfield, the music scene, wasn't really embracing. Of course, it's changed now. I'm talking years ago. And so we thought, well, maybe we should just shut the studio down, and I would become an independent record producer and just go out and travel and do the things that I enjoyed doing. And so I did. I walked into the studio of the mansion, and there's a gentleman sitting there, Ron Treat. He's working on his laptop. And I said, Ron?
Yes, I do.
I said, Ron, I'm a record producer, and I've just moved back to the area, and I'd like a room to rent so that I can work when I'm home. And he said, oh, that'd be great. So he took me upstairs, and I met Larry Wilhite and Gene Bicknell. And they both were amazing to me, welcoming me into the community. And Gene said, well, I have a project that I need some strings on. Would you like to do the string section for me? And I said, sure, I'd love to. And so I cut the strings, and that kind of became Gene and I's introduction. And since then, he had let me rent the space in the recording studio. And about 3 months in, I was doing very well in that little space. And he came in one day and said, "Do you mind if I see your books? See the kind of business you're doing." Gene, he's very pointed. And I said, "Sure, Gene, I'd love to talk to you about that." And so he reviewed it, and a day later he called me and said, "Would you just take over the studio and run this thing for me? We have a need here." And he's very passionate about Branson. He's very passionate about the area and the music scene. And so that's kind of where it came to be. He wants the studio, as do I, to be a staple here to support the industry and give everybody a great product to give to their fans and their demographic.
So, and I don't know anything about studios, but in the studio world, like if you're trying to describe the studio, like how does it compare? And I'm guessing a lot of people may not even know the studio exists in Branson. That's not in the industry.
Yeah, most people who walk in know the phrase that it's Branson's best kept secret is the studio. The studio I would put against anything in a major city, in Nashville, LA, New York, Miami. I've been in a lot of big rooms throughout the country, and I would put this against anything. It's amazing.
Yeah, I see here that you have mixed records for U2 and Beyonce, and that you have written for Bruno Mars, or you've penned some tunes for Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the Jackie Boys.
Oh my goodness.
That was a very interesting experience. Starting with Beyonce and U2, that was a great friend of mine, Jim Caruana, was the chief engineer at Sony Studios for years. He recorded everybody from Coldplay to Aerosmith, Jay-Z, Kanye. He was at the brink, when Kanye had just started. And he and I were working together on a project. And Shay, who was Beyonce's MD at the time, called and said, "Oh, we've got this thing, we got to have it done now." And they were actually, there was a feud going on. I'm going to give you some behind the scenes things. There was a feud going on between Matthew and Beyonce, Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad. And her camp at Columbia was afraid that he was going to leak a song from the new album. And so they sent us 30 songs that she had cut for I Am Sasha Fierce, so which Jim produced all the vocals on. And so we went in and we mixed like 48 straight hours to try to get music mixed to leak something before he beat us to it. But it's actually B cuts from the previous album. But we wanted people to think that it was from the new album so it could take all the thunder from that. So anyways, and then that led to U2. U2 had the same MD. Bono has always been deep in the Sony business. And so Shay kind of reached out again and said, we're doing all the music for the Spider-Man Broadway production. So I mixed 2 songs for that. 2 songs for
And this, I tell you what, this is interesting, but we've got to stop and take a quick break, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Welcome back to Play Branson. We're here with Brandon Mashburn, a producer here at the Mansion Theater, and we were just talking about Beyonce and U2 and Bruno Mars, and of course those are great names to have kind of in your repertoire. To like, you've worked on stuff with them, and
yeah. I've been really lucky. I'm going to go with lucky. It's definitely been. I'm one of those guys that I've just always tried to work hard and do the right thing and make great music and hope that would carry me through. And luckily, so far, I believe I may have. I'm just keeping my head down and trying to work.
So when you talk about mixing, maybe somebody isn't real familiar out with what all goes on in the studio, and so kind of can you give more detail about like what you do to make it all work?
Sure. Well, in the mixing process, we have, of course, a session that has multiple instruments, and the drum kit is broken down to bass and snare and kick and snare and toms and overhead mics, and then bass guitar and electric guitar. And I take all of those components and I put them together in one unified sound to create the mix. That's kind of on the back half. On the front half, I do a lot of consultation with the actual songwriters and the artist, make sure the song's in the right keys, at the right tempo, hire the right drummer so that it has that right vibe in the rhythm section, right bass player, all of those things. Make instrument selection. Quincy Jones has a really great quote. I can't remember exactly who he was talking to, but he said if the song's too fast or too slow, or if the key is too high or a little bit too low, or if the singers aren't wrong, he lists like 20 things. He says all of these things, if they're wrong, it's the producer's fault. Mm-hmm. If it's a hit, it's because of the artist. Very Quincy. It's a very Quincy Jones thing for him to say, of course. But, and who better? Michael Jackson's Thriller and all the wonderful things he's done. Yeah. So it's really kind of that approach. It encompasses everything inside of a recording studio.
So you also are working on developing some artists, is that correct?
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Artist development has really been probably my biggest passion. In Branson, when I came here, everybody sort of had, that I worked with, kind of had the stigma that the bigger artists perceive this place as someplace artists come to die. My experience has been this is where artists come to be born and live and thrive.
There you go.
That's
That
my
is good.
experience.
That is good. And we've heard that a lot. Actually,
Yeah.
as we've interviewed people can have a real, like almost normal life here.
Yeah,
And so I love that.
I've had Gene and I collectively as business partners have developed 7 acts, and of those 7 acts, 5 have gone on to do major record label deals.
Wow.
Another act got a major management deal, and the 7th act is still in development. And beyond that, I'm currently working on with AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys. I'm producing his solo album, his country album, and he flies to Branson, Missouri to cut vocals. He loves it here. He loves being here.
See, I think there's entertainers like, and you just mentioned that, come into town that nobody even know are here, and you kind of just proved that point.
Yeah, AJ, I think his 3rd trip here, he stirred a little buzz, and I think it went viral for a second that he was here. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, the things that we do kind of fly under the radar in that context. And some people really like that. They love to come here, and they love, like AJ stays at the Chateau. Sorry, AJ, I'm giving it away. He stays at the Chateau, and he just loves to be on the lake and, in the woods. You don't see those things in LA.
Right.
So,
Right. So as a guy that's kind of behind the scenes, like if you were saying, okay, here's where Branson needs to go, or here's the vision, like if you could write the script, if you could write the musical notes, what would that look like from your perspective?
well,
Is that a touchy subject or what?
it's a touchy subject. I don't know. Honestly, I work hard to create great music for great artists who have great fans. I think if I could write the script, I think it would be a lot deeper in the business structure of how all the theaters work together, and collectively unifying a movement that takes care of the theaters and the artists, and maybe not peripheral entities that are, in my opinion, strangling those theaters and artists in some ways.
Yeah, you're being very nice. You're being very nice. Yes, you are.
And now, Brandon, you do a lot of production, but you also do engineering for just people who have maybe wanted to record for a while, or maybe have a lifelong dream, or their mom has wanted them to record, and they can bring a track into you or bring a song in and say, I want to do this, and you will make that happen for them.
Yeah, absolutely. The studio is open to anybody who wants to create music, and we're happy and excited to give everybody from their first time in the studio to the seasoned pros the best product they can have, the best experience they can have in the studio. We're absolutely thrilled to facilitate that.
And you're also in a show.
I am, yeah. my first season. I play in the Alabama show for Brothers South at God and Country. I play bass. And I also play in the Everly Brothers show, same Brothers South at God and Country. Yeah.
So if folks want to see you on stage, they can go there.
They can see me on
And then
stage
if they want to have you and talk about a record project or just the business, then can they call up to the mansion and find you there, or is there a
absolutely
website
can.
that they can go to? Or?
They can look us up on Facebook, the Mansion Studios, or they can call the mansion and they can get down.
Okay.
To me. Yeah.
Okay. I've always wanted to make a record. Not that it would be good, but like now I know who to call.
Yes.
It's absolutely love to do it.
And it would just
You're making dreams come true,
It would just
Brandon.
be fun, just to like. I've always said I want to make a rap album. I mean, anybody can rap, right?
I encourage it.
Yeah.
I encourage it. I think it'd be great.
So you never know. We
You could even have him write the rap tracks
write the
for
rap-
you.
Yeah.
My 7-year-old daughter, she would absolutely be involved too. She loves to rap. She comes up with the cutest things to say. We'll put it all together. And
So, folks, you just never know. We may collaborate at some point in the future in a limited release.
it'd be a shame if we didn't.
Very limited.
I tell you what, Brandon, it has been awesome talking to you, and really for you to present another side of the business here in Branson. And I always feel like we're just touching the surface. And you've had a great career, very influential, and thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, both of you.
Yes,
It's a pleasure.
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, folks, we'll be back in just a moment. folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and we're here to wrap up the show today. And I'm going to call him, and I think I need to make a rap album.
You should. I'm really looking forward to. We need to talk about your rap album. I'll interview you as a Branson entertainer.
There we go. It'll be one of my lifelong goals. So, it's towards the end of February now, and spring is right around the corner, and if you're not planning your spring break trip to Branson, you need to be, because it's a great destination to come for spring break for the whole family, really.
Yes, it is. There are great places to shop. There are great places to eat. It's a great place.
So tell people a couple of your favorite places to eat.
So I have to talk about Mel's Hard Luck Diner, home of the singing servers, where you come and their motto is "We sing for your supper." So you'll get dinner and a show there. Really fun place. I love also Tai Tai, and at Big Cedar Lodge, Buzzard Bar, they have this cornbread, and it is like from heaven. It has this glaze on it. You have to go there and get the cornbread. It has this maple bacon glaze.
Okay.
Anything with bacon, right? So
there you go. So there's a tip, and so next time I'm out at the Buzzard Bar, I will have to eat that. What about shopping? Like, do you have a favorite place that you like to shop?
Well, a lot of people come from all over to go to Tanger Outlets, but Branson Landing is really nice, but we also have the TJ Maxx and the Kohl's and basically everything. That's why leading up to Christmas time, a lot of people are just slamming the Branson streets because this is the place to be to shop.
Yeah.
So.
And so, for those people that maybe, they're not interested in the show scene, but they're interested in the shopping scene, Branson's a really cool place to come and get away from your normal routine and come shop. And so they can get a lot of great deals at the outlet malls or all of the little specialty
there are boutiques as well, cute little boutiques,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So folks, plan your spring break to Branson, and you can do that by going to ibranson.com. The folks over there can help plan your entire trip, whether that's hotels, shows, or attractions. You can do it all online, or you can call them at 877-ENTERTAIN. And our next show, be ready, it's going to be CJ Newsom with the Americana Theater. Lots of things happening over there. And so watch us next week on Play Branson. Thanks.